Hello everybody, and once again welcome back to On The Limiter with myself, Anth. First of all, from me and Dan, we wish everybody the best for 2024, and most importantly, if you've stayed tuned, subscribed, liked, shared, watched the videos over 2023, we just want to say a massive thank you. We know we haven't been as active as what we would have liked to have been over the course of the last 12 months, but myself and Dan have agreed over the next 12 months we are going to look to push the channel and move forward. Dan's currently filming another episode with the 595 little Fiat he had. He has had some more problems, so do stay tuned for that one if you liked his last video. And me and him will be getting together very, very soon with the V8 M3s with an update on both cars because they have had a lot done. But moving forward, this is just a quick, snappy introduction to today's video. These are jobs which I've been looking forward to, or should I say not looking forward to be fair, I've been quite lazy, but jobs that needed doing on the SAF. So we're just going to get into this one quickly, keep the introduction short, and this will start today's video. So this is the headline that we had done. So the guy who done the headline is obviously a local guy as well. It's a guy called he's actually called the Seat Repair Guy. He's based down in Redcar, Northeast. He is on Facebook, and I will put a link in the comments as well. But as you can see, obviously, I should have videoed it earlier with the old headlining because, to be fair, it was a mess. But you can see the finish, obviously all brand new fabric, and the material I selected was basically as close to standard as I could possibly get it. The shade, if I'm being completely honest, was slightly out, but not by a million miles anyway. You just need to be careful with it and make sure I'm not putting handprints all over it when me and Dave fit it. So I just thought I'd give you a look at it anyway. As you can see, the quality of it's really good. And obviously he's got in all the gaps. There's nothing loose along here. Obviously around the sunroof and the front plinth where the light and the handle for the sunroof goes is all pretty decent as well. But I thought it'd be handy. Obviously, this guy does all headlines, so if anybody wants a headline and retrimming, he's definitely a good guy to know. Cost-wise, I think it's always important to try and include them. I thought it was very sensible money. It was £190 to retrim that headline and remove all the old stuff, basically. So we'll get to it anyway, and we'll get it fitted, see what it looks like. First things first, obviously, I haven't moved it for a while, so let's see if it wants to start. The battery might be flat, but alright, here goes. Let's see if it works. Obviously, I've got no seating at the moment, so will it fail me? Possibly. Here we are. A reliable SAF. Who would have thought it? So just inside the car now, before we manoeuvre the headlining and everything in, as you can see, there's still some glue stuck to the roof. Now, what I will tell you is, that is a nightmare to get off. And I take me half to forward because there's no way on God's green earth that headlining was ever supposed to come out. I ended up with no skin on my fingertips trying to get all of that away to make it look as best as I could. But obviously the headlining is going to cover it anyway. But what we're going to do is first, we're going to obviously apply some bond back onto that roof, because personally I feel like if that bond hadn't been there, the state the old headlining was in, it possibly would have dropped down at some point. So we're just going to reapply some bond to that and then see if we can just carefully maneuver the headlining back in and then put it up in place. Right, so as you can see, obviously we've got the seat out of the car for the SAF, and the reason this one's came out, you'll probably know yourself, I don't know if people do it the same way that I do, but when I buy old cars, what I tend to do is kind of think of a list, grab a pen and paper, and I'll write myself a little list out of the things that I'm not happy with and start working through them and kind of bring the car up to its former glory. That's the way I've always done it since I was a kid anyway. I'm not saying everybody's the same, but that's the way that I like to work. At least if it's on paper, it's out of my head, and I just kind of start going through the list, ticking things off, and eventually you get to the end goal, which is the car that you've always wanted. So with the SAF, unfortunately, an old Ford, I'm sure you know, they do give you problems along the way. So my list started this big, and after a week of ownership ended up being this big. But a SAF will do that to you. They can run away with you fast. Now, I've done a lot of work on this car already. So with regards to when I first bought the car, I always like to go through mechanicals first. I always make sure a car drives right and handles right before I start working on the aesthetics and making it look right. So the mechanicals to me are the most important part, to make sure the engine's good first. So what have we done with this car already? I've been through loads, to be fair. I mean, off the top of my head, I've probably missed a few bits. We've done fuel pump, fuel lines, fuel pressure regulator. We've put a new tank in here, new tank straps. We've had all the side skirts off to check behind the side skirts and obviously give them a nice clear coat of underseal. Obviously with mine, the original spot welds and everything was still in the sills, which was nice to see. But the car's only got 3 owners, 60,000 miles, which is originally what I was looking for. I know obviously I did a first video with an introduction at the SAF, and that is all in there. So if you have missed that one, it might be worth going back and having a look. But yeah, low owners, low miles. And when I drive this, same as Dan, like, I don't want to go out and just potter about. At the end of the day, I like to drive stuff hard. So to me, making sure that the engine's going to work is an important thing to me. And moving on, we've done like bottom arms, we've done bushes, we've done drive belts, water pump, alternator pulley. There was a lot of stuff which basically this car just being used over the year. It been maintained in terms of service items, but with things like bits of pulleys and the way that things were mounted, screws were loose, things were hanging a little bit. It just wanted that little spanner check. So I've already gone quite far with it. And two of the biggest jobs that have always irritated me was the bolster on this seat and the headlining. When you're driving the car in the summer, you've got the sunroof open, you've got the windows down, you've got the music on, the weather's nice. But for me, it was always killed a little bit. Every time I looked in the mirror, it was just like a sheet blown off a washing line. The headlining was just doing the Waikiki wave, and obviously it ended up doing me head in. So the new headlining, obviously, we're going to get banged in, and obviously I'll show you the seat shortly when we put that back in. The new seat foam, it was easy. You can just buy them off eBay. And again, we used the same guy as we did for the headliner, sent it down to him, and he basically unpicked all of the old cloth, took the seat to bits, and put a brand new bolster in. So I know you haven't seen it yet, but as I sit here in this seat, I can feel a massive difference already. With this bolster sagging, my leg kind of want to go off to the right a little bit, but with the new foaming, I can feel the seats now nice and firm, and I'm held in here quite well. So we'll show you putting the seat in as well. But just two jobs basically that I want to tick off the list that were desperate to be done. So as you can see, obviously we've reapplied the silicone to the exact same marks as what basically the factory one was applied. So hopefully it'll be exactly the same. We're going to obviously clag it up in place and then start trying to get it to stick, and obviously start and put screws in, start and put trims back on, see if obviously we can hold the headlining in place. So the next clip, we'll just set it away, we'll kill the sound, and then we'll speed it up so you can have a look at us putting it in. Before obviously I put the seat in, well, first of all, obviously we've done the headlining. Now we obviously timed it. We're going to speed everything up and you'll see. But it took us 45 minutes. Obviously, there was a little bit of messing about. Just wanted to make sure we didn't get any finger marks on the headline and make sure it was in right and we had the right screws in. But moving on to the driver's seat, before I reinstall the driver's seat, as you can see, obviously the bolsters now are lovely. Don't get me wrong, this driver's seat isn't perfect. Typical Cosworth owners obviously like the joint back in the day, which I'm sure if you've owned any RS, you'll often see these burn holes where they've been smoking in the car, but that's kind of standard Ford. But most importantly, obviously, this is what I've had replaced. So all this foam was sagging. The metal was pushing through here. So as you can see, obviously, it's solid now. And these are the original bolsters, which are still in amazing condition. Obviously, that's still the original bolster. Eventually, depending on how far I go with it, I might try and look to get these a little bit sorted out. It is a shame, but, you know, you've got to be realistic. And they are an old car. It's never going to be perfect. But I'm just going to reinstall the seat now. We'll just get this chucked in, a couple of bolts, and I'll show you it reinstalled and what the headline looks like. So that is it. I'm not going to lie. I'm buzzing with it. It feels brand new in here now. Obviously, as you can see, we've basically shampooed and wet vacked all the rear seats as well and getting rid of all the marks off here. Same with the back bench as well. So you put a new set of mats in. And as you can see with the headlining, it's fresh. Just jump in. So yes, job well done. Not too bad. Initially when we started doing it, 25 minutes to get it out, 45 minutes to get it in, just making sure we were careful and we didn't leave any marks. That wonky mirror's pissing me off, so I have to change that. But as you can see, the quality of it and the fitment is bang on. On to the next jobs. Thanks very much for staying tuned. See you soon.